Most recruitment agency founders know they need to find new clients consistently. They tell themselves this quarter will fix it, but then delivery picks up, their team gets buried in sourcing, and the client acquisition quietly dies down. And then 3 months later, no pipeline, no meetings, and then you're starting to panic because you don't know where to get your money for the next month. In this video, I break down the BD system that top recruitment agencies we're working with are using to consistently build their pipeline without relying on hope or manual work. You see exactly what's wrong with the current way of business development and how a smart approach using AI and automation shifts the whole game and makes your life a whole lot easier and helps you grow your business consistently. My name is Nick, one of the co-founders of AutoMind Solutions, and we help more than 35 recruitment agencies in 2025 scale their operations without adding more headcount. Okay, let's first cover how business development actually looks like for most recruiters right now. Most recruiters are stuck in a loop of the constant pendulum effect, meaning whenever they focus on business development, their candidate pipeline dries out, and whenever they try to fill the roles they just acquired, their business development pipeline runs dry. This ends up in a constant battle for new roles, new candidates. Specifically on 360 desks, this is super annoying and makes growth super hard to predict. So here are the 3 reasons why most outbound for recruiters fails. So the first reason why outbound is failing for recruiters is that they're wasting too much time on manual sourcing. So they spend 10 to 20 hours every week just on finding candidates, using Boolean searches in LinkedIn Recruiter, browsing each profile one by one, then updating it into their CRM by copy-pasting data, starting enrichment processes with some data providers, and all of that stuff is basically a consultant that is buried in admin work. Basically, that's time they should spend on other tasks than just like basically data entry clerk work. Number 2 is poor targeting. A lot of recruiters spend time chasing leads they shouldn't be spending time on. Just imagine it like this. If you would have a bucket of 100 people on the left side and 100 people on the right side. The left side is just a list of random people you know nothing about. And on the right side, you have a list of 100 people where you exactly know they have new roles open, they have hired a new leadership team, they've shown growth signals like funding rounds or whatever is important for your market that shows there should be a need for hiring soon. Which group would you rather target? Of course, you take the second bucket. Then it comes to the channel where they're reaching out, which is number 3. Recruiters using LinkedIn for just vague outbound messages, copy-paste templates, which have like 500 words on it, which are not even related to the candidate or the client they're reaching out to. Then they just pick up the phone if they feel like it or when they're desperate for leads and their pipeline is almost dried out. And then they see email as a spam volume, which is true in some cases. If you just spam everyone's inbox with a copy-paste template, that's spam. But we'll look into this. Overall, these 3 points are the reasons why outbound is inconsistent, why business development stalls, and why you can't have a predictable growth in your company. So in the next point, I will explain you what BD actually is and how it should work. BD is a system that your agency uses to consistently open new conversations with the right companies at the right time without burning out your team and having them rely on hope and finding the time to do it. It's basically a system that constantly does this for you. So let me break that down in 7 simple steps so you understand how these engines can actually work and how they look like. First of all, we want to detect hiring signals. These can be open jobs, new hiring managers, fundraising rounds, you name it. In your industry, sometimes there are specifics to it, but usually there are signals that show you that the company is going into a growth phase where they need more talent. Once we have detected the signal, we want to make sure that the company behind the signal is also relevant for us. We call this a company enrichment and ICP check, so we are sure that the company we're going after is also relevant for us. Next step would be to create a messaging that also speaks to your client's language. And here's where basically most recruiters get it wrong. They just take a generic message template, probably written with ChatGPT and having lots of M dashes in there, but honestly, you have to speak your customer's language. Here's what I can recommend to do this, just as a quick side note. Extract all your call transcripts, run that through an AI prompt, extract your customer's language from there, orientate your message templates on that. Works well for us as well. The next part is that you should automate parts of your outreach. I'm not telling you to use the next best AI voice calling agent or things like that, but automating the first emails, automating the first LinkedIn DM, that can save you a lot of time, and it works well if you have enough context to personalize your messages. Once someone replies on your outreach, we have to make sure that the reply is getting routed perfectly to the right consultant in time so they have a quick speed to lead and are at the prospect's response very quickly so they can dial them right in. The faster you are at the lead, the more top of mind you'll be and the higher the chance that you're going to book them into your diary. And then comes the most important part, is iteration. That's where the whole system stands and falls. Not always you hit it the first time right and it just magically works, but you have to analyze what is working, what is not working, build your own learning mechanism, and then basically feed that back into the system. So you have a constant iteration cycle where you do stuff, analyze stuff, optimize stuff, and then repeat the whole cycle again. That's how you're gonna make business development and outbound marketing work for you in the long run. Now, if you're watching this and you think, okay, now I want to have the whole breakdown of how an engine like this could work, etc. I've created a full package that is uploaded in our resource hub and contains an ICP checklist, the signal list, and basically how this all ties together. And you can download this in our resource hub, and you're gonna find the link to the resource hub below in the video description. So feel free to check that out. So now let's look into signals a bit more detailed. I already briefly touched this topic, but it's important that we understand and get this right. Signals are signs of hiring activity in a company that show you that there might be the need for you as a recruiter in the future. Timing beats volume every time. That's probably clear for everyone, but we want to make sure that we touch on these signals as often as possible to increase our reply rates and the relevance in our outreach. Let me show you what some good examples for hiring signals are. Of course, there are a few other hiring signals, so a few of them could of course be fundraising rounds, meaning a company goes straight into growth mode, expanding into new markets, meaning you can track news announcement, company posts, etc., and basically make your insights from there. But that should give you a quite good overview of what a signal is and how we can then use them. So the main reason why you should use a hiring signal is you can tie your outbound messaging to a specific pain. Pain is the best thing that makes people respond to your outreach. No one ever wants to work with a recruiter if they have happy life and they have a great talent acquisition pipeline, they have and are speaking to the right person. They won't pay a recruiter the fee they want to charge them. So be there when they have the biggest pain. So that's where you can use signals and leverage these to identify exactly these moments for your outreach. So let me now quickly summarize how the ICP profile ties into your signals and how the signals work together with your ICP profile. So your ICP profile could be something like, yeah, I help tech companies in Europe, but that's not relevant enough and not specific enough. What if you could say, hey, I help recently funded SaaS companies in Europe in a Series A to Series B that just published 2+ engineering roles in the last 30 days. That's much more specific. It speaks right to the point where they are and probably also the pain where they are. If you even attach it and tie it to that pain, of course, if you know it. Using this together, basically, you don't need more leads. You just need the right companies at the right time. Okay, now that we know what hiring signals are, let's look at how we actually use them and turn them into a conversation. We like to use multi-channel outreach frameworks. Multi-channel means not relying onto one channel only. And we already discussed, like a lot of recruiters just rely on one channel, try this one until they figure out it's not working for them, then jump to the next one. And yeah, it's always like the grass is not always green on the other side, but you basically have to combine all these channels together into one combined system, and we call that multi-channel. So let's go through all of these channels one by one. The first channel that I want to cover is email outreach. Of course, email is spam if you just spam your market with a copy-paste message without segmentation, without logic, and without doing any research on these companies. This will not deliver any results that you would expect from running an email campaign. So, but using email triggers and signal triggers will enable you to be much more specific in your email outreach. So you don't have to send 5,000 emails to get one response on that. You can send probably 100, 200, 300 emails and get good results from that as well. So you don't play the volume game, you play the quality game. Email is still a pretty good channel and it's definitely needed to get your volume up. Cold email is basically scalable as hell, so you can run that from only 100 emails per day if you want to, but also to 10,000 emails per day if you want to. If your market is big enough and you have the opportunity to do that, then go for it, but just don't spam people with a copy-paste message. This will just land you in spam folders and let your market hate you, which you obviously don't want because you want to make money with your market. So make sure to have your email setup targeted and tie that into your cadence with the other outreach channels as well. Don't make it your only channel. The next channel I want to talk about is LinkedIn, one of the core tools every recruiter uses or should use. Your target audience is exactly there. LinkedIn is a channel that should be reserved for your high priority clients and high priority targets, because limit on LinkedIn is emails are limited, your connection requests are limited. So you have to make sure that every DM, every LinkedIn connection request you send counts. Here's what I would do if I would do a LinkedIn outreach campaign. I would look into my lead list on the signals, and I would score my lead list based on the strength of their signals, the strength of the ICP fit of the company, and basically the opportunity behind the company and if you win them as a client. So if I've done that, I would enroll these people into a multi-channel outreach sequence using LinkedIn as a first touch point, meaning sending a connection request. Being straight, I would never add a connect message to that. I would just send them a blank connection request, wait a few days until they accept. If they don't accept, then we switch to email and send them an email. But if they accept your LinkedIn request, then you're basically open to send them a message for free with a 100% placement rate. So you don't have to hope that spam filters sort out your message. You 100% reach them, and then it just comes onto the quality of your message. If you have a high value target group, always make sure your message stands out and don't send them a huge text block. Make sure it counts for them and makes sense for them. Use some personalization, make it short, and show that you're actually valuable. Bonus points if you're using content to position yourself. If you have some good content, case studies on your profile, the better your results will be for your outreach on LinkedIn. And I can just recommend and emphasize to all of you, if you don't have started your LinkedIn journey yet, start posting content on LinkedIn. It will increase the efforts of all your outbound channels. So see it as kind of a central point and start your personal brand on LinkedIn as a recruiter, because it's where your audience sits. The next channel is the phone, where most people right now are shying away from, but it's still one of the best channels. Even though connect rates are quite low right now, people started to basically being feared and scared of AI agents that are calling them. Being on the phone still is a great way to stand out in a multi-channel sequence. However, there are some nuances to it I would always use before. I would first of all start with LinkedIn or email and put the phone later back in the cadence. Because if you're using LinkedIn or email first, you're having the low effort channel that don't take too much time off your plate first. And if you get a response on that, you know exactly who you should call with priority. But still you should call, of course, the people that aren't responding on your outreach. But I would put the phone later back in the sequence and make sure that the time that you invest on using the phone is the best investment that you can do. But one thing I would make sure before I pick up the phone is I would make sure that the time I invest in calling people is invested on the right people. Either people that responded to your outreach just to book them in, or people that are high value targets for you and basically are in your cadence already. So people that have seen you on LinkedIn, people that have seen your emails. That's why I would place the calls later down in my cadence. So let me summarize that quickly. BD isn't only LinkedIn, only email, only phone. It's basically a combination of all these different channels combined into one ecosystem to make all of that work for you. Imagine getting approached by the person that knows your problem, understands where you're at with your business, and has a solution for this on all channels with a very well-written message or outreach. This will just increase your reply rates and get you in the room with more people that you want to be within. So now that we have covered all of that, it maybe sounds like a huge chunk of work to make all of this stuff basically every day, day in, day out, from morning to evening. It sounds like a lot of work. So now let me address the elephant in the room. You're probably thinking outbound is spam. So let me quickly explain you why outbound is, or automation in outbound is not spam. If automating emails is what you think automation does, then you'll probably be surprised what it actually is. Let me ask you a simple question. Would you rather have your consultants on LinkedIn, browsing through job listings, checking company websites, assessing the fit of a company, and then sending a generic email template? Or would you rather have an automation looking at all these hiring signals, digesting them, looking at the company websites, making sure they are ICP fits, getting these companies on your consultant's desk so they can spend more time on calls per day instead of doing all this manual stuff? I think if you're a smart business owner, you should definitely be on the second side. And this is where actually automation makes sense. Detecting hiring signals, making sure that you don't miss any of these signals. Make sure that initial touch points are created. Make sure that iteration on the results is happening. And of course, make sure that new opportunities are getting created without having your consultants running in the mouse wheel every day and burning out over time. So here's what automation actually is. Automation makes sure that you're relevant, that you're timely, and most important of all, that you're consistent. We all know how busy a day can get and that tasks fall off your table. Happens to me all the time. But automations make sure that I hit my numbers anyway. So every day my LinkedIn connection requests are sent. So I'm building these touch points with my total addressable market day in, day out, without me being actually responsible to do that and typing everything in there by hand. Because nowadays you can hand off most of the stuff that is actually required to do that to an automation, to an AI agent, to a platform that helps you do these things without your manual effort. So there's a lot of things that you can do with your time, which is better than just doing data research. And here's where I see the biggest leverage on automation: consistency. So let me explain you how automation helped one of our clients to just like triple their efforts. So one of our clients, Sprung Consulting, we worked with them beginning of 2025, started the cooperation. And before that, they have been doing cold calling only. So they used a single channel just for their outreach. They weren't using LinkedIn outreach, they weren't using email outreach, just a caller that basically went through a job board in Switzerland and basically took every person that they found there, just went on their website, found their mobile phone number and called them. What we did is we built them a job scraping system that caught all new job listings that are relevant for them every day, added them to their CRM. They were using closed CRM, built them a specific calling list their cold caller can go through. But next to that, we didn't rely on cold calling only. We built a system that sent automated email messages to everyone that had open positions and positioned their social recruiting offer in front of their eyes. Usually we did this on the first day and on the 30th day when the job listing was published. So that means we were there when the job listing goes live. Probably someone is open to just getting straight into it. They want to move fast. They want to get the job filled fast. So I would be there as soon as possible. But I would also be there, of course, when the job is open and they probably struggle to fill it. That way we help them to book more than 100 meetings in 90 days. They had the two channels, email and phone calling, working perfectly together, and they even hired a second cold caller to get all the volume from the job board going and booking even more appointments now. So let's summarize what we talked about. You don't fix BD by just sending more messages, hiring more recruiters, or just posting more content. You fix BD by installing a system built on hiring signals, automation, and iteration. And if you want to build the system yourself, I've built a free resource for you, and it's totally free in our resource hub, where you find tons of more of content about AI and recruitment automation. You find the link here in the video description where you can simply sign up. Doesn't cost you anything. You will just get tons of value for free. Or if you are a recruitment agency owner that is more interested in running the business, focusing on sales, closing deals, and wants to have some experts running that for them, then feel free to get in touch with myself. Book a strategy call in the link of the video description, and we'll have a chat on how a system like this can work for you. Until then, thanks for watching, appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next video.